because I view guilt as a gift from God, and this is something I feel like is pretty controversial.
A lot of people want to think that you can do whatever, say whatever, and live however.
Because
And
God is okay with all of it because he just loves you.
welcome to Spot Me Sis, the podcast where real conversation meets real growth.
We're Michaela and Britt. We're moms, business owners, and friends who work out together, and we believe that everything gets stronger when you put in the reps.
From faith and finances to mindset, motherhood, and all the messy middle, these are the conversations that happen between sets. And now we're bringing them to you.
Around here, we believe growth happens when you stretch your muscles and your mindset.
So grab your favorite drink and let's get into it. Welcome back. We're happy to have you. We're ready to chat. But first, today's sponsor is
Pero.
Pero with some
Premier Protein.
caramel flavored.
Yeah, it's our version of protein coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I
was
love-
influenced on the internet.
Yes, you were.
Mhm.
And now I'm influenced by you. I've always loved the smell of coffee. I've always wanted to drink coffee. I grew up drinking Pero with my dad, and I've always loved it. And this is a winner.
Yeah, it's really good. I grew up, my family drank coffee, and I loved the smell of it. Never really loved the taste, but it's an acquired taste, right? And so
Delicious.
I like it now.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
grown up.
Okay, we wanted to have a little bit of fun here at the
Yay.
beginning of the episode and talk a little bit about our different personality types specifically, because I'm into a lot of, personality systems.
Yes.
But this one specifically is Carol Tuttle's Dressing Your Truth, okay? This is really fun. So if you know anything about Dressing Your Truth, I'm a type 3, Britt's a type 1.
There are 4.
There are 4
4
types. And it's more like your energy type. Like, it's not necessarily personality, but there are a lot of traits that go along with whatever energy type you are. But what is so fun is in this book that she has, if I can find it, she has word portraits for each type. Okay, so like a list of words that describe each type. And we thought it would be fun to kind of circle the words that we would use for each other, of the word portrait. What words would I use to describe Britt and vice versa? And then also have our husbands do it.
Yes.
So we are just going to read some of these. Britt, do you want to go first?
I'll go first. So out of the type 1 word portrait, which is the type that I am, these are some of the words that my husband describes me as. I just read through the list and he said yes or no. Airy, kind of insulting. Animated, bouncy, candid, carefree, cheerful. There's a mark by charismatic. He said that was wrong. Not that one.
He wants to be really clear.
Yeah.
You are not charismatic.
No.
Okay.
Comical, cute. That's one I always get. Cute.
Yes.
Funny, generous, high-spirited, delightful, easygoing, empathetic. I don't know that I'm very empathetic, but thank you.
That's good self-awareness, though.
Energetic, impulsive, infectious, informal, innocent, intelligent, irresistible. That's a good one. Joyful, laughing, lighthearted, lively, open-hearted, which we fight a lot, so I'm glad he thinks that I'm open-hearted. Optimistic and outgoing. Is that it?
No.
There's more. Playful, positive, quick-moving, radiant, random, receptive, restless. He does think I'm restless. That's something we fight about. Scattered, sense of being alive, shining, social, spirited, sweet, uncomplicated, unexpected, vibrant, and youthful.
I would agree with all of those. I really like those.
Those are good ones.
Yeah. Okay, were there any? I had a couple different ones for you.
Let me see the ones that you gave me.
Yeah, the blue. I specifically remember industrious being one of them that I circled.
Oh, you circled beaming. That was a good one. Amusing, creative.
Yeah. Expressive.
Frank. You did circle that one. Jovial, exuberant.
Outspoken.
Industrious. What does that mean, Michaela?
So I interpreted that as like, you're really good at being creative, like with what you have,
I'd like to call that resourcefulness.
Yeah.
I would call that a strength of mine. This is another one that you circled was simple. I actually really like that word. know that to some people that could be an insult.
That would be a huge insult for me. Don't call me simple.
You called me simple.
I know, because I know it's not an insult for you, and it's
I do find myself to be a very simple person, though. I like, not simple-minded.
No.
Right? That's not what you, yeah.
No. There's not. No.
But I like simple things.
It goes along with the uncomplicated on there, right?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that one of them? Like,
yeah, it's you circled
uncomplicated?
uncomplicated.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And so you're just simple. Like,
I see things pretty straightforward, I feel like. I say things pretty straightforward, and I don't know.
Yeah.
And I like plain things. I like plain colors and plain... Anyway, those were yours.
Okay.
She's very different from me. So we're a
Very
good match.
different. Yeah. All right. So these... Oh, I should have...
Do you want me to read the ones I have for you?
Yeah.
These are the ones I picked for Michaela. Business... Now, keep in mind the ones we just read about myself, okay? Business-minded, competitive, driven, dynamic, direct, confident, encouraging, fiery, hot, exotic, entrepreneur, intense, lusty, mover and shaker. I would say she's very much a mover and shaker, and lusty.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Passionate.
I don't even think my husband circled that one, by the way.
Rude.
So, yeah.
Pragmatic, protective, quick, reactive, result-driven. For sure, result-driven. Self-disciplined, self-starter, solution-oriented, sure, and vivid.
Well, I want to be many of those things. I don't think I would
I
describe
see them in
myself.
you. I see them. I mean, that's why I circled.
That means a lot. That means a lot. I don't see them in myself, a lot of the
Compared to
time,
my
but...
simpleness, I see them all in you.
Okay, these are the ones that my husband circled. Not nearly as many, I feel like. Adventurous, big-hearted, captivating, competitive, complex.
Complex and simple. That's why we work together.
Yeah, that's a compliment to me. Complex.
Okay.
Determined, driven, generous, hot, level-headed. I don't know why he circled. That was a shock to me that he considers me level-headed.
That's good.
Yeah. Protective. True.
That's true.
Reactive, self-starter, spirited, take charge, and warmth. I'm telling you, he did not circle lusty.
We need to have a talk.
We do. We need to have a little chat.
I mean, Richard circled cute, so I don't know, whatever.
So it's like been really, really fun. And this goes along with like, how do others perceive you? That is something I've learned this year is I've never really considered, because you know yourself, or, you think you do.
Mm-hmm. You know your intentions. You know how you want to come across.
Right. And then you kind of, or at least me, like I just assume that is how I come across.
Right.
Because why would I? Yeah. Why would I not think that? So this year, I went into a little bit of a spiral, I'm not going to lie, because I found out that there are people who perceive me as intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the word that was used. And that like made me so sad, because I really try, like when I meet people, I try to be really kind, like I'm not rude. And so this, like how people perceive me as intimidating, I was like, oh, that's sad.
Well, you and you had found out within a matter of like a week that multiple people, because it sparked a conversation where you were asking people, what did you think of me? How do I come across? Right.
Yes.
And so you had found out.
A lot of people described me as intimidating, very much like a lot of walls up, guarded.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just so different from like my internal, how I viewed myself. Because I'm like, yes, but I've always said like I'm very shy, right? Because I am an extroverted introvert, right? Like I'm introverted to my core, but it's a scale, it's a spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nobody's 100% introverted or 100% extroverted, right? Like there's a scale. And so I am almost in the middle, but definitely leaning on the introverted side.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've always been a little bit more self-conscious, like how are others
trying to
perceiving
put
me?
on a good show and a good face, kind of.
Yeah.
And so that maybe it wasn't being received the way you thought.
Yeah.
Well, and I have to say, knowing you, you're probably one of the nicest people that I know. Like really nice. On
but
the
it's getting there.
surface on the surface, it's hard to see, and it probably does tie into I don't know that we've talked about you being introverted before. You have mentioned being shy before, and
Yeah.
I think that logically, that makes sense how it would play out
Right,
because
and
they're
so then, like, my mind went back to high school, and people would call me stuck up, and I'm like, "It's so unfair because 'cause I'm just shy," like, why does shy mean
Mhm.
intimidating? Why does shy mean stuck up? Like, why
Well,
is it so negative?
right. Well, and I think it's because shy comes more as, like, closed off,
Yes.
and so there's a part that's like, "Oh, she doesn't want to know about me or get to know
Yeah.
me," where it's really like she's worried about herself. I don't
I'm
know.
just well,
Makes
true.
sense.
True.
But
Okay, maybe it is negative.
no,
Yeah,
no,
because
no, no.
yeah, and, I mean, this also brings in there's a lot of aspects to this because for a lot of pieces, because my Enneagram type, I am in the image triad, so I am concerned about my image, and things like that, and so, yeah, maybe I am a little selfish that way, but yeah, it was
But when
just
I say that you're one of the nice people, I wouldn't just
oh,
say that. You're
thank you.
very nice, and it's hard to get you to gossip about anyone. So it's nice.
Yeah, so it's just like it really just brought this awareness to me like, oh my gosh, people have a perception of me that is different from my perception of myself, right? And so it wasn't bad. It just was hard for me to like take right
Mhm,
away,
mhm,
but wasn't necessarily a bad thing. But this is why, okay, speaking of this, like from a gospel perspective, right? Like I fully do believe in a lot of these personality systems.
mhm,
I believe there's a lot of truth. I don't believe that it is the all encompassing truth, right? But I
mhm,
do believe in, I mean, obviously, because I'm an Enneagram coach. So
mhm.
I do believe in that. But I have always been really wary of astrology. Um, but this is why I'm like, there's truth in everything, right? It's when you make that truth your God,
Over right.
yes, over like the most important truth that it becomes problematic. But I do believe that there is truth in everything. And this just is perfect for that because listen to this. This is my rising sign. I'm a Scorpio rising. It says, and so from what I understand, and I am not an astrology expert, but your rising sign, which is different than your sun sign. So I'm a Capricorn if you look at my birthday, right? I'm in December. So anyway, I'm a Capricorn, but my rising sign is Scorpio. And how your rising sign comes across is like that's how people perceive you.
Okay.
And so that's what I wanna look at, right? Like,
Mhm,
how are people perceiving me? Listen to this. You can't make this up, okay? Those with the Scorpio ascendant sign are stubborn and stand up for what they believe in.
mhm.
Now, when the first person told me that I was intimidating, she's like, "Well, it's not that you're, like, mean or rude, but you are intimidating, and keep in mind, she's never been in a situation where I have done this, but she just knew this about me. She said, "I would expect you to, like, fight for what you believe in. Like, you
Mhm,
would totally
mhm.
you know."
And you do.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't show that to people right away. Like, people wouldn't know that about me, having not been in a situation with me if
But
I'm
isn't
not
it interesting how they do
yes, they
know
just
that?
know that because of my
Mhm,
energy, right? So, it says they stand up for what they believe in. They are intimidating,
mhm.
literally the word people have used, guarded, another word
Oh,
people
yep.
have used, charming and alluring. So,
I like that.
which those words have also appeared in a couple of different personality things that I've done for
Mhm.
me. So, like, it's so crazy how it just has shown up in so many different ways.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting because, like, kind of how we touched on last week, we're all given specific gifts, and I think within that is our personalities and
Mhm,
the ways that we react and see things in the world. Not only are those our weaknesses, but they're also our strengths,
mhm.
and it's easy when you see something at its surface to say that's a negative trait or that's a harsh, whatever it is, and it's really not. And God sees it all the way through. He doesn't see it at the surface, and that's why he gives us those gifts all the way through.
Yes, I
To a
love that.
so
I really like that because, like, with the dressing your truth specifically, my friend and I were just talking about this because she just found out she's a type 3 and I'm a
mhm,
type 3.
mhm.
And we were talking about how type 3, being a woman, like being a female type 3 is really hard because it's almost the exact opposite of what society has wanted women to be over the years. And so there are a lot of words used for the type 3 woman that have very negative connotations. Like,
Mhm.
you're intense, you're so dramatic, like, you're
Mhm.
too emotional, you're too whatever, you're intimidating,
Right.
you're too driven. And so it's really hard, but I was telling her, I'm like, "But God, like, those are all good things. And yes, there are weaknesses that come with all of our
Anything. Yeah.
personalities, right? And I think those are also there for a purpose, for us to have to rely on God and to overcome those, right? Like, that's all part of why we're here. But these other things that like have a negative connotation, maybe they're really not negative.
No.
And God doesn't view them, He gave them to us for a reason. He didn't just give them to us because it's like, well, this doesn't really mean anything, but you're going to have it. Like, no, it was
Right.
intentional. Like, He gave it to us for,
Everything that God does is divine, and it's for a
yeah,
purpose.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I really liked that. But,
I like that too. I think it's so interesting because each person we talked earlier about how the grass is greener.
hmm
No, we were talking about silly things earlier, and, um, it's funny because me as the type 1, it feels almost opposite to what
hmm
you've experienced, and it feels negative. It feels like I can't be taken seriously. It feels like I can't be, uh take it seriously. I don't that's what
yeah,
comes to my mind is every obstacle in my life revolves around people not believing in me, not taking me seriously, not knowing what I mean when I say I don't I don't know. And there's a lot of funness, there's a lot of lightheartedness. Is funness a word?
sure.
There's all of those things, and so it can be seen as great, and then there's opposition.
hmm
So I guess it's just really fun to learn more about yourself and why God gave you those gifts and how you can use those in a way that you didn't maybe see or know otherwise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, these qualities that maybe you've received negative messaging about, right? Like, you were probably told you need to be more responsible, you need to be more mature, like,
Mhm. Yes.
grow up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Quiet down. You're being too
Yeah.
much. You're being
Yeah.
where I'm like and it's so fun because I see a lot of these traits in my oldest daughter. She's like, "What?" She's so obnoxious, and I love it. And it's so fun, but there are people who don't and I have a soft spot for it because I grew up being
Mhm.
told, "Quiet down, that's too much." Being the loudest person in the room, and I get it's I mean, some people don't like it, and that's fine. But it's me watching her is very eye-opening, very heartwarming, and just very soft to my heart.
Probably healing for you
Yeah,
because, like,
giving
you
her
are
the
giving her
space.
permission
And,
to
you
be those
know
things.
and I have to say, my mom was pretty good at that. My mom was when I was younger, my mom was
Mhm.
really fun. But I'm just glad I can be that safe place for her because she's so dang fun.
I love that. I love that. My daughter's a type 1, and that has been it's karma for me because we've talked about how, like, we're so
Mhm.
different in so many ways, like, type 3 and type 1
Could you
are
imagine living with me?
yes, because my sister was a type 1, and we butted heads so hard, like, we did not get along, we're so different, and so karma came around and brought me Annie, my daughter,
Mhm.
who is just my sister reincarnated, even though my sister's still alive, but so it's been so it's my life lesson to learn,
And you are, like, a lower energy, right?
No. Which yeah, so
Okay.
actually this is really fun because I know why you would think that, but so type 3 is actually the highest energy.
Really?
Isn't that funny?
Just harnessed better? Controlled?
Yeah, maybe. So this is where your secondary totally comes in.
Okay.
There's actually an energy lineup that Carol does, and I have gone back and forth on whether I'm a 3-4 because you have your secondary. So when I say 3-4, like 4 would be my secondary. I thought I was a 3-4 for a very long time, and now I'm kind of thinking that I'm actually a 3-2, which would make
That
sense
has the
in the
lowest.
energy lineup as well,
Okay.
because it's gonna be a little bit lower. It's not the lowest, like a leading someone who leads with a 2 and then has a
Right, right.
secondary 4 would be all the way, you know?
Mhm.
But a 3-4 is actually the 3rd highest. We haven't decided what your secondary is, but a 1 has the 2nd highest energy. If I were a 3-2, it would put me a little bit down the line, which makes more sense because I feel like I do have a little bit of a lower energy. I think the 2 or the 4, whichever one it is, kind of pulls me down a little.
I can see that.
And it's also not, I will say this, it's also not like physical energy, but it's so my energy can come across in like the intensity, right? And like the passion.
Mhm. Mhm.
So there is that too. So I will say something that I've had to work really hard at, and this is getting away from dressing your truth a little bit, but my Enneagram type, Enneagram 4, deals with shame more than any other type,
Mhm.
and didn't love hearing that. I'm like, you ever feel like, oh, maybe I didn't want to know that?
Yes.
Like, maybe I shouldn't have learned that, even
Yes.
though it's true and it was there all along, but like
You
now
know,
you're aware of it.
yes, inner work has done that to me many times.
Yeah. I'm like, maybe I was better off not knowing that. So I deal with shame. Um, and specifically my subtype of my Enneagram type deals with shame the most. So like it's great. And that is something that I've really had to work on is not feeling shame for who God created me to be.
Mm. Mhm. Which is so important because shame doesn't really get you anything.
No.
Shame gets you nowhere other than maybe hiding in a closet.
Yeah. So I love, okay, Brene Brown, who has done so much research on shame. She is incredible. I love her work. And she talks about how shame literally serves no purpose. So
Mhm.
that really got me thinking because there are a lot of things that we maybe think of as negative, but we're like, oh, but it can serve a good purpose, right? Like it's there for a reason, even though it doesn't feel good, like guilt.
Mhm.
But shame, in all of her research, she said, shame literally serves no purpose. It's not good. And this killed me because I actually was doing some research on this the other day. And this YouTube video popped up of this monk who was talking about shame. And he said, he's like, shame serves a purpose. It's for this. And I'm like, you are dead wrong, dude. Like, I
Do you
love,
remember what he said?
he said, I feel like it was almost in line with guilt. Like he almost was connecting it to that in a way, like shame shows you what you
I
desire and what
think
you should be, something like
talk
that.
about the difference because I think a lot of people do see them as the exact same thing,
Yeah,
shame and guilt,
they
and
are extremely
they're
different.
not. Yeah.
So this is how I love to view it. So shame tells you, okay, actually I'll start with guilt. Guilt tells you, I did something bad. I did something that went against my values and who I know I am meant to be, who I want to be,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so it's this awakening kind of a thing. Shame tells you that you are bad, that you
That you should
are not
hide,
good
you're not
enough. Yeah,
worthy.
you're not worthy. You're not good enough. You need to hide. You need to keep, like, not tell anybody, like, keep
Mhm.
it.
Because it's shameful. It's not something you
Yeah.
wanna share versus a guilt you could almost wipe clean. You could come free by putting it in the light. Whereas if you put shame in the light, well, that's just more shameful.
Yeah. But, that is how you overcome shame is you are vulnerable with people. You
Mhm.
say,
Don't let it have that power over
this,
you.
yeah, because then what happens, and this is from Brene Brown's research, but what happens is when you are vulnerable and bring shame out into the open, it gives others the opportunity to say, oh my gosh, me too. I have dealt with that
Mm,
too. And that is literally how you overcome shame
okay.
in those empathetic and vulnerable moments
Right.
with people. And so anyway, the shame is what I call Satan's counterfeit. And
I like it.
because I view guilt as a gift from God, and this is something I feel like is pretty controversial.
You made a post the other day and it just said
I was kind of blunt.
but one slide and it said guilt is a gift from God. And I remember laying in my bed kicking my legs thinking this is so true. Like she said it, she's so bold and honest and it's not something a lot of people the teddy bear Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that
It's not
concept
something like a lot of people want to think that you can do whatever, say whatever, and live however.
because
And
God is okay with all of it because he just loves you.
right.
It's like God's love just like is an excuse for, or I don't know, like it, what is the right word? It's like,
I guess in my the way I'm seeing it in my head is it's silly to think that God wouldn't hold us accountable.
Yeah.
Why would he put us on this earth to just let us do what we wanted and then have no learning, no repercussion, no, I don't know, you know?
Mhm.
And so I think it's silly to think that we can have it, have our cake and eat it too. Did you
Yeah.
know that that saying you're supposed to say eat your cake and have it too?
Oh,
It's actually, I think from,
eat your cake and have it.
it's
Interesting.
like a, what's that place? London? England? It's like a UK. Is that
Yeah.
EU? UK. It's apparently a saying, it started there, and it's eat your cake and have it too.
From, like, the Middle Ages or something.
Probably
Yeah.
not that long ago. I don't
Okay,
know.
okay.
But
That's
eat your
funny.
cake and have it too because you can't eat it and then have it still be in front of you, right? Like,
Oh, well, that makes more sense, I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, the teddy bear Jesus is a big thing, I feel like, in the world, I don't know, where and I love Emily Bell Freeman's talk, and it's about it was the Covenant Path talk that she gave, like, just a few years ago. Actually, I think it was her very first one after she was called, maybe. But she talks about and this is the teddy bear Jesus concept, I feel like, is people go in their pit, right? Like, they're in the pit. They're there, they need help.
mhm.
And Jesus meets you where you are. That's the condescension. He comes down, he meets you where you are, right? But then they end it there. And I'm like, you're missing the second half of that. And this is what she talks about in her talk is that that's the condescension, but then there's also the ascension. Like he comes down and he meets you where you are, but he doesn't stay there and he doesn't let you stay there. He doesn't want you to stay there. He pulls you out of that. Like, where's the growth aspect, you know?
Well, I don't remember that at all. I was just trying to look it up, but that is incredible, like, visual to see.
Yes.
He can come to you and visit with you and be with you or whatever it is, and then he's gotta go. He can't sit and dwell
Right.
here,
And he
and
doesn't
he
want you to
expects you
dwell
to
there
come up with
either.
him.
Yeah. He doesn't like that. He doesn't want that for you either. And so when people say, well, Jesus just loves me as I am, like I'm good enough as I am, I'm like, well,
Jesus loves you, and
yeah. I'm like, that's a partial truth. Like that is true, but you're missing the second half.
I mean, it's like anyone, if you've ever had a child or been in a serious relationship where you just love someone with your whole heart and you want them to always be getting better
Yeah.
every day. You see so much potential in them. Just imagine that magnified because God and Jesus, they can see, like I said earlier, like all the way through it. And so for them to be able to know what our potential is and then have us not want to reach it just wouldn't make
Oh my
sense.
gosh. Okay, I just had an insight. Okay. I just had an epiphany.
Okay.
So I was thinking of okay, so shame. The very first time we see it is in the Garden of Eden. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Eve, Adam and Eve both have now partaken of the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And then Satan comes to them and he's like, you're naked. Hide.
Hide. Mm-hmm.
Go hide. That is shame, right? They saw their nakedness and they went and hide. And then God says, who told you? Like, why aren't you listening to me? Who told you that you should believe that? Right. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
this whole, anyway, um, this whole concept of the condescension, ascension, teddy bear Jesus, like, what if Adam and Eve in the garden, that was their version of staying in the pit?
Mm.
Jesus, like, if they would have stayed there, there would have been, we know that there was no progression,
Right.
right? Any of
Right.
that. And so they had to leave. Like, and so I feel like the world looks at that as such a negative thing. Like, so many people
The
talk about
fall.
Eve. Yeah. So many people talk about Eve as being like, women, you're the reason we all fell, right? But But we know that was part of the plan, but, like, take it a step further, and that was the condescension and ascension in action.
It
He came yes, maybe they weren't in a pit, like, they were in paradise, right? But they were stuck.
But
They
they
couldn't
couldn't
grow.
go to Heavenly Father, they had to wait for him to visit, and they
Yeah,
wouldn't have died, which means they wouldn't have.
but there was no progression, we know that. There was no
Yeah,
joy,
right.
there was no progression, there wasn't any of that, and so it's like God came and in his loving way, he's like, let me pull you out of this, even though it seems perfect. And what
Mhm.
a lesson that is. Like, he can pull us out of a situation that we're comfortable in, that it's like, oh my gosh, like, I just want to stay here because I'm so comfortable and life's great. why are you pulling me out of this? Like, this is terrible.
Do you
But
think
it's all for our good.
have you ever had that?
Yes.
I don't know
Oh,
that
yeah.
I've ever been in a situation where I'm like, "This was so great," and then I had to leave it.
I would say for me, that was having Ashton.
Having one child.
Oh, no. I would
Oh,
say for
okay.
me, that
Tell
was
them a little bit because I don't know if they know.
yeah, so I would say for me that was, being in the hospital having my first baby because pregnancy was perfect. Like, literally, my doctor said, "If I could have every patient of mine be like you, like, I would be so happy."
Mhm,
Everything was perfect, and then, out of nowhere, I got preeclampsia, and so they had to and it just came on, and it was severe, and so they had to do an emergency induction at, like, 36 weeks. And so I'm like, "Okay, that's fine, like, 36, yeah, he's a little early, no big deal, right?"
mhm.
And so they take him and, well, he's born, and I hold him for maybe 2 seconds, and then they take him. And they're like, "Well, his lungs are just like, it's a little blue." And then they keep him, they keep him, they keep him, and then they come over and they're like, "Did the doctor use forceps?" Like, by this time, my doctor has left, and a different team comes in. They're like, "Did the doctor use forceps on him?" I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Well, he has, like, some sores here." And anyway, and then he had a 2-week NICU stay while they were trying to figure out what was going on. So
Mhm.
that was kind of the beginning of it. But it turns out a couple months later, we got the call that he officially had a rare syndrome called branchioculofacial syndrome. And it really just affects, I mean, it doesn't affect his brain at all. And really, luckily, it doesn't affect like his health in the sense that, he's
His
like at risk or
lifespan,
anything.
yeah.
Yeah. But it does affect, it just causes facial abnormalities. And so he's had lots of surgeries to correct different things. It also causes hearing loss. And so that has been some of his surgeries too. But I would say that was it, right? Because like
Mhm.
you're having your first baby, you're so excited and
It was
you
all
have all of these,
perfect.
yeah, you have all these expectations and dreams and like how you think life's going to go. And you're just so happy, right?
Mhm.
And then it just all gets like ripped out from
Yeah. I can't imagine having that experience, but, I mean, I have to say Ashton is 14?
13.
13? He's such a good kid.
He's the best
He's
kid.
such a good kid.
He's the best.
So I guess it made up for it.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
His energy type,
I like
personality
to
type all came full circle and
I
it
like to say that God was like, "Okay, like, yeah, some of this is gonna be hard, but I'm literally giving you a done for you kid.
Mhm.
He's done for me." Like, he just came
He already
ready to
learned all the
go.
lessons and he knows.
He keeps me on track. He's like, Mom, don't we need to clean out the fridge today?" Like, and then he just does it. I'm like, "Yeah, thank you. Thanks for being a better adult."
He is such a good kid.
Yeah, he's so good.
Oh,
So,
man. Yeah.
even though, like, in that moment, like, I just remember getting that call. And I was convinced because there were I would love to talk about this someday, maybe on my own podcast or maybe I don't know where, but there were so many miracles that happened, even from early on. Like, there have been so many throughout the years, but even early, early on, there were so many miracles. And when we were in the NICU and they were running all these tests on him, trying to figure out what it was, it just so happened that there was one geneticist in St. George. And it just so happened that she had worked in Boston at the place where they studied this particular syndrome. Now, at the time when Ashton was diagnosed, there were 50 cases in the world. Okay. So, like, you can imagine, like,
Oh.
we lived in Vegas for a few years, and none of the doctors there who, like, helped Ashton, we had to switch doctors.
Was he born in Vegas?
No, he was born in St. George.
Okay.
And so, but we lived in Vegas for a few years, and I would have to explain every time we would go to a new doctor, like, this is the syndrome, like, this is
Mhm.
because they had never even heard of it. And so, what are the odds, right? Like,
Right.
what are the odds? But she was pretty sure. She had narrowed it down to two, and they're very closely related, but luckily the other one deals with kidney failure. And so
Mm.
really, really like so lucky that that's not the one he had. But she was like, I'm pretty sure he has one of these two. And so she, took a blood sample, sent it back, and she's like, it'll take about 6 weeks to get it back, right? And so he was born in October. It was December when we got the call. And I was convinced, like I had such faith, and now I see I was in total denial. I was convinced that he did not have it, that it was a fluke, that like he just had the symptoms of like the signs of it. Like he has like a white patch of hair on his head that he was born with. And he's got like, he had the brachial clefts that they removed later. They were like big sores kind of on his neck. He had like the wider set eyes and, just like these little things, but I'm like, no, it's all coincidence, right? Like totally fine. And so when I got that call, it was just, I don't remember what we were doing, but my family was over at my house and I got the call and I answered and she's like, well, he has it. And I broke down. Like I was sobbing and she's like, get your husband, like, because I was not even able to communicate at all. And so he came and it was good, like to have family there and stuff too. It just like, there were so many miracles. And so you just see God's hand in it, even though he's pulling you out of
this happy reality
the
that
comfortable that you
in.
thought. And it's like, I thought this was what I needed in my life. Like I thought that this was the way my life was going to go. And that was going to bring the joy and happiness and all the things that I wanted. Right. But he knows what we need in order to grow and become who we are supposed to be. And so, okay. And I'm feeling like I'm contradicting myself a little bit from the last episode where I'm like, God doesn't give you trials, right? But he allows things to happen. And I feel like,
well, and we said that.
Yeah. But I feel like this is something that maybe wasn't given to us. Although, I don't know. I would argue that Ashton came just as he was meant to come,
I agree.
So,
well, and even whether it's physical or emotional or
mental or anything,
whatever it is, just the same way our personality types are different, our health challenges are different. And like we said, God sees it all the way through.
Yeah.
He knows.
And he consecrates everything for our good. Like we learn that in the scriptures too, that everything is consecrated. All of our afflictions are consecrated for our good.
Which, what a blessing that is. To have someone care, I don't know. Sometimes you feel all alone. And then you probably did. Having one of 50 in the whole world, you felt all alone, but it was literally thought about and consecrated for your good and his good, Ashton's good,
Yeah.
I guess that's one of the things I always try to remember is that even though I feel alone, I'm not alone.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I went from like that denial, and totally just being crushed. And it wasn't, I feel like I had a little bit of a grieving process after that, but it wasn't for long because I truly felt like this strength just came over me where I'm like, okay, like, well, what do we do? Right? Like this is, yeah. And so I just feel like I had this strength that I know did not come from me come over me. And it's like, all right, like, what do we do? Right? Like, okay, got to take him to all the doctor's appointments, got to have surgeries. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. And you did it well. And he has another surgery coming up.
Yeah.
And his last one went well.
It's a week from Monday.
Yeah. It's right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, we're recording right before Thanksgiving because.
Oh yeah. Hey, future everyone.
Yeah, it is almost Thanksgiving, 2025. So yes, he will have another surgery December 1st. And
hey, that's Luke's
the plan
birthday.
is, oh yeah, it is.
It's a good day.
The plan is that this is the last one. So
ever?
Ever.
I didn't know that.
I mean, okay, not ever, but like the last big one that we actually need.
Necessary. Yeah. Okay, cool. Isn't it fun to live this mortal experience?
Sometimes.
I think it is. I think it really is.
Okay, so Britt has an awesome quote.
Yeah, so I
kind of wrap that up.
I found that talk from Emily Freeman, and here, I'll just read it. With a covenant relationship with God, conditions have been set, and there will be expectations along the way. And yet, He invites each of us to come as we are able, with full purpose of heart, and to press forward with Him at our side, trusting that His promised blessings will come. And then later down, she says, we must remember it's not the course alone that will exalt us. It's the companion, our Savior, and this is the why of covenant relationship.
I love that.
It goes kind of along with what we talked about last week, where the Lord won't give us anything that we can't handle. But we won't get anything that we can't handle, regardless of what happens to us, what was given to us, however it comes. We won't get any trials that we can't handle as long as we are walking the covenant path with the Savior. So
Yeah.
Good reminder.
It is a great reminder.
We're done.
So with that, we believe in you because we are in it with you, doing the hard things one rep at a time.
Well, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review anywhere you're watching this podcast. And you can get to know us better and see behind the scenes at our Instagram at Spot Me Sis Podcast. See you next time.